Yosef Gutman Levitt has come full circle, from musician to high-tech entrepreneur and now back to musician. The founder of the successful email newsletter app Mad Mimi, the Jerusalem-based Levitt has returned to his first love, releasing a double album of Hasidic-inspired music.
I think a lot of people have a sense that Jewish music isn't made with the same finesse and the same attention to detail and lucidity and clarity and space and time and feel that a lot of other music is made with. So I felt that there was a big gap there, and I kind of quit for a long time. Got involved in technology, finding this idea of nigunim and focusing on nigunim and trying to hear how I could bring my own musical voice to life with the nigun, the Jewish nigun as the anchor, was the challenge that I really wanted to speak with, and not in a challenge in an artificial way or a heady way. But this new album was a chance for me to take Hasidic nigunim and use my contrabass and my acoustic bass guitar and some of my favorite Israeli musicians, arrange it, bring interludes, and craft the music in such a way that it would offer me some stylistic freedom. When I started thinking about the album, I wanted to produce something that was sweet and accessible and still me, that brought jazz, that brought sort of lucid and subtle improvisation in spontaneity and surprise into the world of the nigunim. Spent my time running away from Jewish music, like most young people who have a curiosity in terms of becoming a world-class instrumentalist. Nigunim don't really offer very much in terms of musical depth and breadth. They're not very interesting. They're very simple melodies, and anybody who has that type of instrumental curiosity is really looking elsewhere for inspiration. When I grew up in South Africa, I grew up on a farm area, pretty isolated from anyone or anything. And I didn't really have much else to do but practice my bass guitar. So that's what I did for years. And I got into South African jazz. I wasn't really involved in Jewish community very much. So I got into the whole African music thing, and that's really where I learned how to play. There are a couple of songs on the album where I take Jewish nigunim and really put them right there into my African farm music. Nigun Simcha and Hayehudi Hakadosh are two examples of taking that South African farm music vibe and putting a nigun in there and using that vessel to play with and interact with the nigun. After I came to New York from Berkeley, the first thing that I did was engage myself in commercial music in the hope of surviving. This was already after a couple of years of being a jazz musician and working as a busboy to survive in restaurants. I started spamming everybody in the creative industry, people doing ads and people making music for TV and film, and I got a list of all the people that were the decision makers, and I created email campaigns, and I promoted myself as a South African musician that composes and creates South African style music. Thinking back, that sounds a bit insane. Like, why would I pigeonhole myself in such an insane niche? But a crazy thing happened that the Oprah Winfrey show, Parker Williams called me and he said, hey, I'm the producer from the Oprah Winfrey show, and we need some South African music for a film that Oprah's doing. I got so excited and got a little studio together in my brother's bedroom, and started getting some serious South African music together for this Oprah Winfrey movie. And I sent it to them, and I was so excited, and they hated the music. It was very authentic. It was too authentic. They wanted Disney. They wanted like the Disney version of South African music. I did the ethnic version of South African music. So, but they felt, I'd put so much energy into this incredible music that I produced. I got the guys from the Paul Simon Band in Graceland. The guy that played guitar and accordion on Boy in the Bubble. It's that intro accord. It's famous. I got that guy to play on the music. His name is Tony Cedras. But they didn't like the music. They wanted something totally different. And but the guy, I guess they felt sorry for me, and they said, listen, we'll give you another opportunity. You can do the music for the Oprah Winfrey show. And this is exactly what we want. They gave me samples, and it was like cheesy, Disney style, electronic sounding, I don't know, whatever it was. But I was very happy with the opportunity, and I did it. I did like 100 pieces of music, maybe more, for the Oprah Winfrey show over those next 2 years, until I realized that I was no longer a musician. I was something else. And at that point, I kind of moved away from the scene, and I thought, listen, that email campaign that I sent, that worked. That got me this crazy phone call, this crazy opportunity. Let me make an application that helps musicians make these type of connections. And that's how I ended up quitting music and getting into technology. Mad Mimi originally started off as a tool for musicians to be able to promote themselves, and after a while I thought, why just musicians? Let me just make an email sending product that feels good and looks good and speaks to me as a personally, and let's see what happens. Let's take no money and no experience and go up against all the most companies funded with billions of dollars, like Constant Contact and MailChimp, and let's see what Hashem has in store for me. And I really went into the project like knowing that I'm just going to flap my hands around and Hashem's going to do the work. And that was the next 10 years. 10 years of my life was Mad Mimi.
Well, I've used Mad Mimi, and it's very user-friendly and very resourceful. And
thank you. Yeah, that's
and I know a lot of Israeli companies that are using it. And then it got bought out by
by GoDaddy.
You did very well for yourself.
I don't know. Hashem did very well. I don't know what in the world happened there in those 10 years, but all I know is that I worked really hard, and in a bizarre creative way. I mean, the entire company pretty much happened remotely. I mean, there was no office, there was no anything. I sat on the bench outside Nocturno here in Jerusalem on, Bezalel Street. There's a nice bench outside there. It's still there, I think, the bench. And I ran the company from there for years. Every day just hanging out on that bench with my laptop, controlling a strange enterprise with tens of employees in 13 different countries, dealing with thousands of customer service requests every day, and all sorts of other technical problems. It was a serious adventure. And now it powers GoDaddy. It sends hundreds of millions of emails a day. At some point I thought, am I going to do music? Am I going to learn? Or am I going to do business? Am I going to carry on in the internet technology world? And I decided to do music. So that's really where my heart and my mind is now. And as put out lots of albums and make lots of music, and hopefully get into producing music for other people in the coming months or years. I think what the time in technology where I was most successful was when I was building a product that I myself valued and needed. same as music. I need good Jewish music to listen to. So I'm making the music for myself. I'm making music that I can leave playing in the house day in and day out. And I don't have Jewish music like that. That has the depth and the subtlety and the clarity and the nuance that excites me as a person sensitive to sophisticated music, as a person who went to a good music school, as a person whose life is really, high quality, whether it's technology or whether it's music. I think identifying what you love to be listening to and making that music, identifying what problems you have in your life and making that technology. And I would say that's, in simple, the advice. Technically, I always try to work with the best people. Working with the best people also keeps me on my toes and brings me to a level of professionalism really quickly that I wouldn't be able to get to if I was working with people of average skill, talent, or average. I really try to always shoot for the top and work my way down from there, rather than starting in the middle and going up or down. I always try to work with the best people, which I've done on both of these albums. It's not always cheap, but it always provides an exciting and long-term good result.
The Sun Sings to Hashem and The Moon Sings to Hashem by Yosef Gutman Levitt is available on Apple Music, Spotify, YouTube, and other music outlets. This has been Ben Bresky. Thank you for watching, and Shalom.